keep it coming back, keep it coming back. And I love to hate you, but I hate to love you. Ooh. But you know what I'm into, and baby, that's why I love you. I hate to love you, hate to love you. I hate to love you, hate to love you. Woke up busy from the previous night. We played our record. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ghana Goddess Out Where. It's that time. The full moon was yesterday. Your girl almost didn't make it this month. I was not in the mood. Okay? You guys know I tell the truth. I was not in the mood. I've been in the dumps, yeah. And I had to make myself get up and say, oh, you know that this makes you happy, do it. So I'm like, yeah, I made my outfit. I made my Taurus outfit. I made my Taurus shoes. Yes, it's all ready and embedded and all that. Yeah, so like, let me get out here and do what I do. Yeah, so I'm here doing what I do. Alright, because it's, I feel like coming here today, talking to you guys about what I'm going to talk about is going to make me happy. It's going to, make me feel alive. Because I love talking about what I talk about. Art, spirituality, whatever. You all know what I do. So, besides showing you off my Taurus outwear, right? My Taurus outwear, which is all about Venus, the goddess of beauty, arts, and what? Wealth, divine feminine, all right? Energy, love, beauty, arts, okay? Wealth, that is Venus. That's Taurus. That's the Empress. That's the divine feminine, all right? The beautiful woman, okay? I tried to put her in this outfit. The symbolism, everything is supposed to talk about Taurus. All right, that's what I'm trying to present here. That's what I'm presenting. Not trying, I'm presenting it. So I hope you enjoy this outfit. Very simple. I don't feel like turning, guys. Not today. I'm not in the mood. Okay, you got to do without my backside. Okay, yeah, let's get it. So I will be talking not about love and all that, but it's kind of connected to it because those energies all are moon energy, the divine feminine energy, which is in the sacral chakra, right? Which is sensuality, love, beauty, wealth, money. That's all the human aspects. It's the feminine energy here. Now, what I really want to talk about is the fact that on the spiritual path, when you're trying to grow spiritually, there are some sacrifices that you need to make. All right? In some cases, you don't. But if you're really trying to gain some serious divinity, some divine power, spiritual abilities like clairvoyance, deep, claircognizance, all of those things, medium, talking to the dead, and astral traveling, all those things, we're not going to list them all. You might want to make some sacrifices. You have to be able to control the lower chakras, the lower humanistic aspect, which is being able to abstain from sex, love, intimacy, that kind of stuff. Can you be alone? How do you feel when you don't have money? All right, what is life without those type of goals that make you feel like you belong in society? Like you have your money, you have your car, you have a good job, you have degrees, you have a beautiful wife, a beautiful husband, blah, 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 money in your bank, good health, you make love when you want to, you go out drinking, all those things, all right, that make you feel like you're living a good life on earth, that brings you so much sensual pleasure or just pleasure in life. Can you do without it? Can you sacrifice any of those things? Food, going on fasting, for how long? Can you make it purposeful? Can you sacrifice those things so that you can develop the upper chakras, which is your spiritual powers? Because I had to do those things. And I know that that's what it takes sometimes. It is not what people talk about human sacrifices and people stealing people's destinies and all these other negativity that's going on. Some people may use that easy way out to get what they want. But those of us who want to do the right thing now, who are like really doing what it takes, okay, the proper channels to grow spiritually, we sacrifice these things. We focus our energy not on those things. Not that we don't eat forever, but we don't focus on it, and we don't you know think that that's the end or be all. We don't allow those not having those things to make us feel belittled either. In this society, it is very difficult for you to accept poverty or accept to not have a lot, accept to not go out with your friends and fit in, dress differently, be your unique self, even go fasting, be celibate for years. Yeah, I know about it. I'm doing it. I have done it so many times. I don't even care. I don't even care anymore. It's not something that now I don't even do it for spiritual growth. I just go celebrate when I want to. I feel like it or whatever. It's just part of my life. The whole point is you have to be able to function in your spiritual self, feel good about your life and yourself, you know, without all that human aspect, that those things that it will break you down if you weren't empowered. So I'll be talking about that. I think I've gone too deep already, but I'll be talking about celibacy, letting go of those things, sacrificing those so you can gain some gifts, some spiritual abilities, uh, yeah, pretty much I'll be delving into it, how I did it, how if it made things move faster. People don't like talking about that too much, all right? Because there's some people that went through the spiritual path by developing their intuition, using law of attraction, manifestation, and going for money. There are those groups of people there. And there are those people who literally just, me for instance, I went into it for intelligence and then it opened up all this other stuff. Okay, so there are different angles in which you grow spiritually and everybody have their goals. So as I'm saying, coming from this particular angle of like, hey, sometimes you have to be able to sacrifice wealth, going after these type of stuff, sex and all that. Some people don't sacrifice any of that and still develop their intuition. So it's up to you, but I'm going to teach you how I got there and how a lot of spiritual gurus live like that. People who are really about developing that divinity and living that divine path here on this in this physical plane and all that stuff. A lot of us do this, yeah, especially when you're a high priestess and all this stuff and you're doing spiritual stuff. You need to be able to function without these things, right? Without all these human things, these that make you feel good or whatever. So I'll be talking about that. And if there's any energy left, I might do a tarot reading, but I don't want to promise anything because first of all, I didn't even want to do anything today in the first place. But I had to show up and show off my creative work always, my Taurus outfit. I love it. And I felt like this will boost my mood because hey, nothing does it for me than having a conversation about things that I love or doing something creative. So yeah, this is my time with you guys. The full moon was yesterday, but I won't be talking about full moon, so it really didn't matter, but I still had to show up. I had to show up for my people, la 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 la, and for myself, okay? So let's have some fun. Let's talk about these things. Is it hard to be celibate? Is it hard to, not focus on your goals and all that? Can you do that? How do you feel? All those things. We're gonna be chopping it up, chopping it up. I like that entry song. I love it. Ooh, do. You guys know I like to be silly, so I will see you there. Let's have our beautiful conversation. I hope you guys have been enjoying the Taurus season. Honestly, Taurus makes me lazy. I've been struggling to do everything. Besides the fact that I'm in the dumps, I feel lazy too. I don't want to do nothing. I know how Taurus people feel. A lot of Taurus people like to lay down. I get it. It's like, oh, it's hard to get up and do things. You just want to lay down, be pampered, paint your nails, do all these, beautiful things and spoil yourself, drink what you want to drink, eat what you want to eat. Oh man, Taurus season is crazy. Probably gain 2 more pounds. Oh, Taurus. Love y'all though. You guys are amazing. And happy birthday to all my Taurus friends. Hi everyone. Thank you for coming to Ghana Goddess Artware, right? You're speaking to the Ghana Goddess Oracle as well, okay? So as the Oracle, here I come with my messages for you. As I already told you in the introduction, I'll be talking about, use controlling your sexual desires, your drive for goals, money, the human aspect of you to be able to really grow spiritually. All right, those are some of the sacrifices and part of the path that it takes to really become, to develop your gifts. Okay, it's not always like it's not always needed. It's not always the only path to go, but that was the path that I used. Okay, not just meditation, because I know all this time I've been talking about meditation a lot, but it really there's a lot more that goes into it too that I had to implement. Not just reading, not just practicing certain things. I also had to go celibate. I also had to learn how to fast, cut down, become even vegan, vegetarian for a while, went vegan for a while. There's a lot that goes into the spiritual growth, okay, and you stepping into your divinity. And some people may make it seem like, oh, it's a smooth, easy path, but it's a path that is very isolating. Let's say that. It's a very isolating path. It can become boring, all right? But it's not really boring, but you learn how to just be on your own without anybody or anything. You don't have any crutches. It's like, if you're bored, you watch TV. If you're bored, you do this. Developing spirituality, there are some things that you need to learn how to sacrifice if you really want to grow, all right, and develop your gifts. So I'll be talking about that, really on banging on the fact that celibacy, fasting, those things are very important. Those two things are very powerful. Going celibate and fasting. They would skyrocket you from this level to this level in months, okay, in months. So let's get into it. It's kind of interesting, guys, but I wanted to start by talking about in 2001 when I entered United States. When I got to the airport in New York, all right, a man, an Indian, not indigenous American, India, like India, Asia, that part. An Indian man saw me at the airport. I was sick as a dog. I could barely even walk that day. That was the first day I got into United States in New York City airport. This man looked at me and he gave me 3 books. It was, can I get the books? Give me a second, let me get the books. I have it on my shelf. Alright guys, I'm back. For some reason I couldn't find the 3rd one, but it was 3 books. He gave it to me for free. I didn't have dollars to give him. I didn't have any money, but he said, here, this is yours, okay? This one is The Journey of Self-Discovery. His Divine Grace, AC. Well, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. Okay? But The Journey of Self-Discovery, he gave this to me. And he also gave me The Science of Self-Realization. Alright? If you guys want me to get detailed, I'll get closer. I went to the temple here in LA, this man's temple. But I took the books. I never read these books. I didn't know that it was part of my destiny. A lot of times you think you're making decisions. My point is, you think you're making a decision. You don't fully understand why you're making a decision. You may even think you've made a wrong decision, right? Or you don't understand why you feel like you should go a certain way, make a certain move at a certain time in your life. And you just don't know. You just, all you know is you feel like that's what you need to do, and you're following your heart, you're following your instincts. At that time, I didn't know what intuition was. I didn't know anything about following. Well, I've heard about following your heart, but was I really thinking that I was following my heart? No, I was just going with what I thought was best for me. I wanted a better life, and I saw that in the United States, and I was like, I'm going for it. I made big sacrifices for that. Okay, so when I got here, the first thing that I got was these things. Who would have thought that being raised in Jehovah's Witness, Catholic Church, Presbyterian Church, all the churches combined, all right, nobody went to church more than me in my household. Went to church 3 times a week. Okay, who would have thought that I would end up talking about deep spirituality that has nothing to do with religion? Okay. Either way, it was connected. It was part of my foundation. All right. So it's not that far off. But years down the lane, I'm by myself, divorced, all that stuff. And I found myself reading these books. And that is when I saw the sacrifice of celibacy and going fasting. I got those information from these books. And I went, and one thing about me is I'm a very practical person. So when I read something that sounds good to me and I know it will empower me and it makes me feel good, I like to practice it immediately. I am a practical person. I don't like to live in la la land. I like reality. I like truth. I like feeling things. I like to not just believe. I want to know. All right. So whatever I was reading, I started to practice it slowly on my own. And slowly but surely, it opened me up to bigger life, okay? To see things in a way that the average person doesn't, okay? Now I can sit here and say I have my own authority in myself as a spiritual being. I know who I am. I understand, as much as I can with the light that I can contain, the level of consciousness that I can contain to remain human. I understand it, you know what I mean? Because there is a certain level that you cannot hold in the physical body. You just bust wide open. All right. The energy, the spiritual power, the light being cannot hold in your physical body. There's a level to it. All right. So I just want to say that sometimes if you follow your heart or whatever you think you're doing, don't always, beat yourself up, because there's always a reason for everything. Everything is connected. Everything makes sense in the long run. You cannot always have all the answers. You cannot always know all the ins out. Put all your I's and T's on every dot, and you can be super analytical, super thorough thinker. Think you know it all, understand it all. Make sure everything is going to flow before you make a move on something or make a big life-changing decision. But sometimes you just don't. You just have to know that this is what you really need at that time, and you just follow your heart and go for it, because it will open doors for you and it will show you a life that you probably could not have fathomed, because if it was in your consciousness or if you knew about it, then it won't be something to discover. So there's always something to gain by following through with things that you feel you need to do at a certain point in time. Even if you don't gain something, you've gained a lot. You just don't know it at that time yet. And it will all make sense in the end. So I said all that to say that that's where I got the information from. If I can source it, I'll source it for you. I am the channeler. I am the one that experienced it, and I'm the one that knows how it feels and how well it worked. And during the time where I decided to read these things, I even practiced it without connecting it to spiritual growth. Like that. I didn't say to myself, okay, I want to gain this, and I read it. No, I was reading it for self-understanding, just to read. All right. But later on down the line, when I really got onto my path and wanted to really develop my spiritual gifts, I naturally incorporated all that, and it really changed a whole lot of stuff for me. It took me to the next level. So I know that it works, but something I practiced over time. I didn't become a vegan in one day. I started as a vegetarian for years, then I slowly went into veganism, and now I eat meat. Now I eat meat, because if I don't eat meat, my iron deficiency will kill me. I won't be able to function. So sometimes, all those things, you have to become aware, you have to understand. So let's get to our topic. I said that to make a point, and I think you guys get the point. I wanted to show you how I got the idea and how it became part of my spiritual growth, and I've shown you that. So now let's move into something else. What I want to talk about is it really part of the process? Yes, it is. I've said it. I have told you that it's part of the process. All right, where I went for a year or more, most of the time, without sex. You know, I'll do fasting 21 days at a time. I started by doing fasting half a day, then I graduated to a day, then I went to 3 days, then I went to 10 days, then I went to 2 weeks, 14 days, and then my highest was 21 days. And in those periods where I was doing the fasting without, you know, the fasting in particular, my God, fasting is so powerful that if you go in the right way, you set a goal, you say to yourself or to God or whatever you pray to and say, give me the answer, the clarity I need for this, okay? Before you go into it. After the 3rd day is when things starts to happen. The first 3 days you'll be struggling, you know, fighting yourself from eating and drinking just water. I'm talking about drinking water and teas, okay? First 3 days, water, and the rest of the days, water and just drinking tea without honey, none of that. And drinking more water, all right? That's the fasting I'm talking about. Not 21 days without no tea or something, like tea, all right? So if you do that, after the 3rd day, ooh, you'll be writing a whole notebook. The clarity that you get, it will be like somebody, right? The angel or your higher self is sitting right next to you and is talking to you and you're writing. That's how profound it can get when you use fasting to gain clarity, to gain understanding, to gain knowledge and information that you're looking for. You will actually hear a voice like somebody is literally talking to you. That is your intuition. Because at that time, everything has calmed down in your body, right? Your body is not working to, you know, crash down the food. It's not doing all this over time. You're not watching TV. And when you're fasting, you don't do those things. Like, you don't distract yourself with TV watching, sex. No, you don't do sex. None of that stuff when you're fasting, right? When you're trying to do stuff. Things like being on your phone. No. Keep yourself in nature. Sleep. Sit there in the grass, put your feet in the grass. That type of fasting is what you need. You don't do fasting and sit there and watch a whole show. You will never get the breakthrough. So that's how you have to do it properly. So for instance, you're doing, you know, like it will be like somebody's in there. Your intuition gets louder like I'm talking to you now. You will hear it, the voice will be stronger. And not only are you developing the connection between you and your soul and your angels and your spiritual team and your ancestors, depending on who you called on to give you the information, you're also becoming more connected to your own soul, the voice of your soul, your intuition, when you fast, when you go celibate. All right? So let me just move on to the next level here with this conversation. I'm not going to be that fluent today. I can already tell I'm choppy. Bear with me. You guys know when I'm in the flow, I flow. When I'm not, I'm trying to gather myself. You need to bear with me. Oh. All right. So what was my next point I was going to make? Why is this so important that you even have to go through this type of sacrifice? Okay, in order for you to understand the spiritual process, you need to understand the chakras, right? And which I talk about. I don't have my board or anything here, so I'm going to run through it quickly. The chakras, the 7 main ones in our body, the first, second, third, all the way to the 7th one. The first 3 ones in the bottom is what is connected to your food, family, sex. Especially the second one is the sexual one, the love one, right? The creative one is also the divine. The moon is connected to that. The divine feminine energy is connected to that. The base is the job, the work you do, the money, you know, all that. Whatever makes you human, that makes you survive and enjoy life is connected to the 3 lower chakras. So in order for you to be able to tap into the heart chakra and all that stuff, you need to awaken the 3 and be able to control them, to be in charge of them so that you can operate in the higher aspects of your chakras very well, because those are the chakras that are going to lead you to your intuition, to develop your spiritual gifts and all that stuff. So that is why it's important for you to master not fasting, not having sex, because those are the things that will hold you down in your human vibration, in your human energy. The more sex you have, the more food you eat, the more focused you are on your financial goals and just, those things that society expects you to do, having a family, getting married, the more physical you are, the more human you are. That is the human aspect, that's the physical aspect. It doesn't really tap you so much into your spiritual power as much, even though it's grounded and it's the earth vibration. And it works with the four elements, which is the earth, the fire, right, the air, and water. All that functions in the lower chakras as well. But the spirit part, they're all the spirit in earth, the spirit in all of this stuff that I told you. But for you to function more in the spirit, the fifth element, you have to be able to control, master, right, the four elements that I talked about, which is all still embedded in the lower chakras. All right. So that is why you need to learn how to do without. Okay. Some people cannot see their value when they don't have money. Some people cannot feel like they are nobody because they are not educated. Some people feel like life is not meaningful because they don't have food to eat. Some people feel like because they don't wear certain type of clothes, they don't belong to society. All those type of mentality where you feel like you are worth nothing, or somebody can talk down on you because you don't have those things, and you feel like you are a failure. Even you can even say that some people will even see you as a failure because you have not succeeded in these areas that make you human, that society expects of you to maintain a reasonable lifestyle, a perfect lifestyle, or a good, like a decent lifestyle on earth. Then you break yourself down and you feel lower and lower, and you don't even feel good in who you are. When you're developing spirituality, you're going to understand that that's not all that makes you. That is the aspect of you that you need to survive here. And that is not all of your essence. It's just a little bit of your essence. In fact, you have more greater aspects and powerful aspects to you than just being in those physical energies. So in order for you to still have self-respect, self-love, admiration for yourself, and value yourself, when you don't have enough money, when you are not having sex, when you are not married and all that stuff, and not let anybody make you feel like you are no good, you have to develop and tap into the divinity. That with that knowledge, with that power, it gives you the higher perspective of your life, and you see all of you, not just a portion of you that everybody wants to see. And when you're looking at things from that perspective, you don't feel like because you don't have money today you are nobody. You don't feel like you can't, you are. It's all about you being able to look at some wealthy person or somebody who's got all this stuff together and still stand on your 10 toes down with a lot of quality of being within yourself, and not feeling the value deep within you, like insecure within you because maybe you don't have something. And that is something that a lot of people suffer from and will never say it out loud. Oh, some people would not even hang out with their friends because that weekend they don't really have money, so they don't feel that great. Some people feel happier when they have money. Yes, it's true. When you have money, you can do a lot more. But I'm talking about the part that the other aspect where nobody talks about, that is a hush hush within ourselves, where we don't feel like we're worth anything because we don't have certain things, certain material things. Okay, like we're not having sex, we're not making love to someone, we don't have a husband, or we don't have the whatever, those things. That's what I'm talking about. Just because you don't have those things doesn't mean that you are a nobody, or you're a failure, or you you have no value in life, okay, or you failed in society. In society size, you probably have. But you should know within you that you are greater than all of it. Now, I'm going to tap into this by saying, if that's the case, Africa, for instance, being known as a third world or people largely living in poverty, shouldn't they have more spiritual power and gifts and all that, if that's the case? Okay, yes and no. The reason is, if you are just poor, you're not giving yourself all of these human pleasures to live a good life just because you just don't have it, or you are not fighting or struggling, doing what you got to do to get those things, and you don't have a purpose of sacrificing it, because you have to sacrifice this. Okay, let me say this way. I have this ring on my hand. I made it. I stitched it, right? To someone, it's just a cloth, all right, that I stitch, and it's a ring. But this, to me, it's a ring that I ignited. For instance, I prayed on it. Maybe I put some oils on it. Maybe I was making it with intention that it will carry love whenever I wear it, to attract love to me. All right, maybe I'll put some certain love oils on it. I'll do a little igniting some energy into it, gemstone, whatever. Put it outside, pray on it, tell the divine goddess, mother of Venus, to empower and build this ring and make it a love attraction, to attract someone to me, a soulmate to me, blah blah blah. You see the difference? With intention, this cloth is not a cloth anymore. Just like I talk about fashion. Without any intention, this is just an outfit. If you're making it with intention, then it is imbued in power. You have invoked energy into the item. A stone can be a stone, or a stone can become a god to you, depending on what you say to the stone, what you put on the stone, the time and energy you put on the stone can turn into a very powerful deity for you. So what I'm saying to you is, just doing these things, not feeding yourself, not wearing good clothes, or depriving yourself of all the pleasures of human life, and thinking that your spirituality is going to develop on its own, it's not going to work. It's not. That's why there's a lot of poor people who don't have no spiritual gifts all over the world. And people who don't have goals, don't have spiritual gifts. In fact, they are so low vibrational to the point that they can't even think straight to even talk about developing divinity. So just because you practice these things does not guarantee that you are going to automatically become spiritually gifted. You have to consciously decode and reprogram your subconscious mind and talk to your soul and do certain practices with intention for it to become a tool for you. Other than that, you are just a hungry person, a struggling person, a suffering person. Difference. Everything with intention is got power. If you just let anything just go, everything is everything. Water is water. But if you speak into water and you drink the water, it has become a ritual, where whatever you said to come to you will come. I spoke into water before. I got just a normal glasses, a form of manifestation. You can use water to manifest. You use water to cleanse spiritually. You can use water to manifest money. You can use water to do quite a bit, right? Talk into the water, invoke spirit into the water. Say, talk to the spirit of water. Say, I need $200. Blah blah. You drink that water. I swear. It happened to me. I got it. Whatever I asked for the water that day in that glass, I got it. That money came to me. So what I'm telling you is that, yeah, you can drink water. Yeah, you drank water. But if you speak to the water, you invoke spirit into the water, you put intention into it, it becomes something else. So you cannot go on and say, oh, I'm going to go celibate for 10 years and think that you become a divine God. No. You have to use the intentions. You have to invoke. You have to speak into it. Before you do it, you have to look into that mirror and speak to your soul. You have to meditate, lay down and talk to yourself and ask the spirits. You have to call on the angels. You have to call on your ancestors and tell them, I'm going celibate because I want to sacrifice this amount of time so that I can get this money, so that I become more intelligent, so I can become whatever the goal is, so that my clairvoyance will become clearer. I want to go on a fast. All right, you need to speak to your spirit team. divine, whatever God or goddess you're working with. You can't just do it. You have to put the intention in it. Then it becomes a powerful thing for you. And it will fasten your growth. All right? Because some people will tell you that they became spiritual without ever. They can even tell you that they use tantric sex or whatever, spiritual sex to become more connected spiritually. Is it true? It can, because there is some sex is a very powerful energy. There's creation in sexual energy. There is life force energy in sexual energy. There's DNA, there's blood, there is ancestral energy. Like everything is in your sexual energy, your spit, but especially sex. If you understood the power of creation, being in that sexual energy, in that orgasm, in that fluids that's coming from that, you wouldn't waste it on every and anybody. Because just because you choose to sleep with someone doesn't mean that you haven't taken on their demons and everything else. When it comes to sexual energy, the reason why it's so powerful when it comes to spiritual growth is because of all the things I just said. It is carrying everything, your ancestors, information, creation, life force itself, spirit itself. What happens? You bring for another human being through sexual intercourse, so you think it's a joke? The Kundalini energy comes through the sexual energy and shoots into your brain. If you want to become more intelligent and you build your intuition, you hold the sexual energy in and it grows, it goes up. You consciously push that into your third eye chakra, into your crown chakra, and that makes you more intelligent. It opens up your creativity. It opens up your intuition and connects you on the spiritual level. But you have to consciously use that energy. If you don't, it's just going to sit there. Just like a talent, you don't utilize it, it becomes waste. So I don't know where my camera cut off. But yeah, just like everything, if you don't utilize it well, it just becomes a waste energy and it just sits there. The energy just sits down there. So you can use your sexual energy to become more creative because it's all connected. You can use that sexual energy that you're not using on the physical being and use it to develop and grow your spiritual powers by literally visualizing and feeling that energy rise from your tailbone, the Kundalini energy going through the sexual energy all the way up in there. You have to consciously even say it sometimes. Most of the time, all the time, you have to say that I'm transmuting this energy into becoming more intuitive, into becoming more clairvoyant, into seeing the spirits. I want to speak to my ancestors. I want to see them in my dream state. And you consciously use it all the time and do that. You are using it to your advantage. All right. If you're on a spiritual path and you are using that sexual energy to become more spiritually powerful, it works. I did it and it worked. I looked in the mirror and I said it to myself. I said, I'm gonna be celibate for a year and I want to become more clairvoyant. I want to see the spirits and hear them clearly. All right. And I did that and it became more enhanced. Just by me saying it, looking in the mirror and focusing my energy and everything into my eyes and looking at the soul. Because you're looking in the mirror, you're looking in your eyeballs, you're looking at your soul on the inside. And then when I went to sleep by meditation, I've done it through meditation where I also invoke energy and speak into myself and visualize things, what I'm using the energy for. So I visualize that sexual energy or even like feeling the orgasm and using that energy at that moment when I'm feeling it and transmuting that energy, like seeing it the way I want to use it. I don't even know how to even say this very well. I don't know if I should say it even. If you can visualize it, if you're good in visualization, you can visualize yourself in an orgasm and using that energy. Should I teach you guys this? And using that time when you're seeing it and feeling it as if it's happening, then make it I don't even know how to say this. How am I going to say this? You can just simply transmute the sexual energy by saying it, visualizing it, and seeing the end results of that energy and what you want from that energy that you're using it for. Okay? So how do you turn those energies in? I have described enough. During meditation, visualization, speaking it, and subconsciously like programming it to yourself. You can even do that every night for like 21 days. Everything you do for 21 days will stick with you. It has become a program. But or you can also use the new moon to the full moon to program yourself to really say you want something to be done, and really keep doing that act like meditation every day and saying the same thing, visualizing the same thing. You know, when you get to a certain point, you don't have to do it for 21 days. You can just say it and release and let it go and just allow things to unfold. You know, but you have to develop it until you become good at following through with and becoming disciplined with your spiritual practices. You may need to do 21 days for it to really stick. All right, if you're not that good at it. So, or starting from the new moon to the full moon, then you stop and then continue, you know, whatever it is that you are looking for and wanting, but by still practicing your celibacy, still practicing your fasting and all that. You can use any of these tools that I'm talking about, but really I wanted to focus on the celibate energy today. You know, the more you learn to live without these pleasures of physical life, the stronger you are just naturally going to become spiritually. All right, because you're not going to come from a low vibrational point. You're coming from a higher vibration. And it's not that you're going to become poor for life. In fact, what is the point of becoming divine if you cannot feed yourself? You will know how to function without it and be in charge of it. The whole thing is about becoming the authority over all of you and your lower aspects and your physical being. That's what it is. That way, nobody can use it against you. Nobody can use their money against you. Nobody can talk down on you for it to affect you because you don't have a degree. Nobody can talk down on you using any of those physical human aspects that you purposely decided to sacrifice to gain your power to attack you. It won't work. That's why there's some people, you know, you can do all this stuff to them and, you know, they still will maintain themselves and do what they do. And you'd be wondering, I thought I did this spell on you. How come it's not working? I thought I told you all these things that's supposed to break you. How come you're still walking around here like you own the world? It's because this person has gained authority over those aspects of themselves, and there's nothing you can say, do, ritual that's going to affect them. It won't. You can do all the ritual you want to deprive a spiritual person that's really elevated, that has used these channels to become spiritually powerful, like you strip them of their money, strip them of their love and all this stuff and think you win. But because you don't know that that person is powerful in those things and have gained power over that, you don't win. It's like you are not stripping the person of anything if they know how to be without it. You didn't win. That's why certain rituals don't work on certain spiritual people with higher vibration, that they've worked through these and used these channels. You're not gonna win. It's not gonna work. You can use your words and say these things. If it's surrounding any of these lower things that I told you, you're not going to win because they've mastered it. If they themselves have decided to sacrifice their sexual energy, their love life, their financial goals, and you know all these sacrificing the fact that they wanted a BMW and they didn't do it at the time they want to because they wanted to develop a certain gift. You think that you talking down on them and telling them that, oh, that's why you don't drive that car, that's why your car is broken, would affect them? No, they'll laugh at you because they chose to not drive it. So what are you doing? You're not doing anything. You're not flexing. You're not doing anything to that person. That is where you want to be. To gain spiritual authority, you have to be able to control and rise above these things that is supposed to make you feel like crap. It's supposed to break you down. It's supposed to make you look down. When people who are driving Mercedes are talking, you should shut up and sit down. Look down. No. That is the thing. That is something that you will gain that, and you wouldn't even know. You didn't even realize. Some people will look at you like, why do they feel so confident in themselves? They don't have nothing. They don't have my mansion. And then you have someone that has the mansion and have all that stuff. You strip that thing from them and they feel like they want to commit suicide. You don't want to be that person that want to commit suicide because your mansion is gone. Because they demoted you. You don't want to kill yourself over those things. That is gaining spiritual power and authority in yourself. So not only when you learn how to use, sacrifice these things, any of them, to develop certain spiritual powers, this is how you rise above and be able to stand firm through anything that this earthly life has to throw at you. Trust me, if you don't think nothing of it, you will. And you have some spiritual people who have become master in sacrificing these things, that they just use it as a crutch to not do much for themselves as well, like choose to live on a less than human pleasures, like practicality. You need some things, and then they live below it because they know they can function. They know they'll live. They know it's not breaking them down, and they just choose to do that. And some spiritual people are like that. They've gone to that extreme where it's become a negative thing. You can say that, all right? And then some of us, we know how to do it, but we still want to live a good life. We still want to have human pleasures and all that. But when we can do without, is what I'm trying to say. We are still powerful without it. We are still great without it. Our spirits don't break. Our souls don't crumble. Our mind don't shatter because we are without something that is connected to the physical aspect. Because we know that this is a temporary thing. To gain all these abilities, like I said, it's not just about meditating. Your life transforms. You transform your life. You can use seriously in 3 months. If you go celibate in 3 months and you start meditating and you decide to open your third eye chakra, it can happen for you, because that's how long it took me. Within 3 months. In fact, it was quicker than that. Within a month, I started dreaming already. But the full-blown third eye chakra opening happened within 3 months, because I started in December. By February 14, I'll never forget, because it was that day that I started to see in my third eye completely. Like I saw sparkles, I saw colors, I saw like a dark night light with sparkles of light in my eyes. My eyes was closed and I was seeing this swelling. And then I started to see the darks, like something like a dark sky with sparkles of like a million stars. Then they started to swell. So that happened on the 14th of February. So for me, every Valentine's Day is like an anniversary for me, when I literally knew and I saw conscious. I wasn't asleep. I had started dreaming already, but that day I knew that my third eye had opened because of the experience I had. It was blissful. I was sitting there laughing, crying. I didn't know how to feel when I started to see those things with my eyes closed, and I'm sitting there during the day meditating, and I'm seeing things. I'm seeing like a cosmic opening. I'm seeing things moving. Stars, sparkles, colors swirling everywhere, like rainbow colors swirling and moving all in between. What really killed it for me was the black sparkles. I mean, the black with the sparkles of different stars. It's like looking into the night stars. Okay, it was crazy. Then it started moving and swirling and opening up and making different shapes. I was sitting there crying, laughing, and in shock what I was seeing. So I even opened my eyes and I still was seeing it. I opened my eyes for a minute, closed it, and it was still there. I couldn't believe it. I said, am I still alive? What am I seeing in my eyes? I will never forget that day, and nobody can take that experience from me. So it took a lot of things. Sacrifice went in. I wasn't doing anything. I was at home. All I did was meditate. I didn't have a job. I didn't go anywhere. My life was meditation, sleep. Meditation, sleep. My kids were there, but they didn't need me as much. I took care of them, blah, blah, blah. So you can imagine, people probably look at me like I was a bum, like I didn't have ambitions and goals. Because for that period of my life, for those months of my life, I was not on this planet. I was in a different planet where I go outside and I see all kinds of stuff that I normally wouldn't see. What the birds are doing, what the sun was coming in and out for me, what the moon was doing, everything. I was like, it was as if different eyes and nose and everything. I was smelling things. It was as if everything was open for the first time. The things that I normally wouldn't notice, I was noticing. Even the way the clouds was shaping was talking to me. After that time, so and I was celibate for over a year, and I saw how quick and fast with the programming how all that happened. When I opened my third eye, I wasn't doing a fast. I used my celibacy. I added it to the program and the meditation practice that I was doing. And within 3 months, it was less than 3 months, I was already awoken. And things started happening to me that year. I will never forget it. Between 2010, 2011, I was not on this planet. I was alive, but I wasn't here. Because my experience was not physical. It was all spiritual. I used to sleep all day because at night I was busy. I was asleep, but things was happening to me. So I woke up sleepy and tired because I wasn't really sleeping. My life was at night. It was as if my life was shifted. I couldn't. And all that was money I was missing, ambitions and goals I didn't have. None of that. I didn't have any plans for my life, but just to become, more intelligent, more spiritual, all that stuff, to gain my gifts. There's sacrifice involved. Instead of stealing from people, sacrificing animals, or what other people do to get to spiritual growth, some of us literally sacrifice our needs, our pleasures, our friendships, our love lives, spending time hanging out with friends and all that stuff, just so we can focus on the growth and develop spiritual gifts. If somebody had told me that these books was going to change my life, was going to transform me, when that man gave it to me for free, I wouldn't have known. Books change my life. So you need to start reading if you don't like reading. You never know what you pick up from that book. Knowledge is definitely power. I went for intelligence and intuitive upgrades, and now I'm a full-blown spiritual being, having a physical experience now. Over the years, my gifts developed different one. Every time my hearing came, my smell came, slowly but surely my sensitivity came. I could feel it when the spirit's there. I started to see some. Even with my eyes open, I started to see things. So over time, embedding this lifestyle and also programming and all that, I became who I became and grew spiritually. So my whole point is, it is part of the process. But not every spiritual person uses celibacy and fasting and all that stuff. Some of them don't. Some of them actually become spiritual using law of attraction, going for money and manifesting money. That's what they are into. And some of us, this is the path that we chose. It's harder to do this. It's harder to maintain yourself without being in a love relationship. It's like, I've become even a hermit because of my spiritual path. I actually enjoy being alone now. Before my spiritual path, I had a problem by being by myself. I felt like I wasn't happy. But now, I'm at peace when I'm alone. Yes, I like to be around people, but I don't need to be around people. In fact, I get irritated when I'm around people for too long, and then I start to feel weird. I want to go to my house and go hide somewhere and go and lay down. Is it good or bad? I don't know. I just feel like I have a good balance of being around people, functioning, but also functioning alone. I can be without being in a couple for a long time. I can go years without sex. I'm good. It's like I don't think that I'm losing out on anything. I don't feel bad. It doesn't make me feel sad. I don't feel like I'm losing out on pleasures. It's training over the years of practice to become stronger spiritually and to become, whole without any of those things, right? Functioning in your spiritual vibration more of the time will train you to be able to do these things. And someone will say, why would I want to go without sex? Am I stupid? Why would I want to go without eating? Am I crazy? Those are good things. They feel good. Yes, they do. I'm not saying they don't. What I'm saying is I'm speaking to those who are spiritual seekers, those who want to function from not just their human part, but their divine essence. If you really want to grow spiritually, develop spiritual gifts, talk to angels and deities, and see the reason why the birds are chirping crazy and trying to get your attention. If you want to call on your spirit animals like me, when I'm in the dumps, that's when my hummingbird spirit animal show up. I open the door and you know how rare it is to see a hummingbird? But my hummingbird shows up for me every single time. When I'm down in the dumps, a hummingbird will show up in my yard, either in my back. The first time I got an encounter with a hummingbird, it literally knocked my glass door. It knocked. That was the first time I saw a hummingbird that close to me. I had never seen it. I didn't even know if I knew. I don't even think I knew the bird called hummingbird. I saw it with a long beak and everything, and I looked for it later on. Apparently, that was my spirit animal introducing itself to me. But definitely, if you're trying to connect with this universe, your spirit animals, and see the reason why it's too windy for no reason, and you, like me, for instance, because I'm a sun being, it's happened to me more than once, and I'll say it on camera today. When I really want to talk to the sun god, and I'm talking to the sun god, and the sun is not out of the clouds, the sun comes out of the clouds for me. Because I invoked the sun to come out. Because I said, okay, yeah, somebody's going to say that, hey, I was saying on Facebook that she speaks to the sun and makes the sun come out. If you think what I'm saying is crazy, go and study people who are into spirituality and let them tell you if they cannot invoke the wind, if they cannot invoke the sun, if they cannot invoke how the sun will show up for them just when they are doing a sun ritual or something, and they call on the divine sun god to show, and the sun will literally brighten in a different way for you to know that the sun is there for you. If you think this coming out of the crack of wherever, find out. Don't believe me, but it's come out for me so many times that I can't count. I can't count. Okay? I've spoken to the moon and felt the moon bright, extremely different at that moment that I'm speaking to the moon. You cannot feel the connection to all these divine entities and the universe if you don't practice it. If you are not connected, if you don't practice and know that these things are real, you would never know. You would just hear, say, he say, ba, whatever. But that hummingbird came in front of my door last week for me because I was not feeling that happy. I opened my door, here go the hummingbird fly, and it came so low. I was like, Lord, have mercy. Even though it's my lifestyle, I always get amazed and how accurate and how on point the spirit animal will show up for you, how the universe will do things. Like that day, I was finding feathers everywhere because my spirit team was trying to tell me, we're here for you. We hear you. Whatever is going on, we got your back. So I came home with 3 feathers in my hair. On average, I might find a feather once in a week or something like that. But that day, the spirits wanted to tell me that whatever you are feeling sad about, we are here for you. You can connect with us. So I found 3 big feathers and I put it in my hair. After I saw my hummingbird, and let me tell you, as soon as I saw my hummingbird, I started to lighten up. My mood started to change. Because it's my spirit animal, and hummingbirds are about happiness, and they share, miracles. And it's like, you need to understand that your vibration, you need to develop that higher vibration to connect on that kind of scale. And that is the 7th chakra, where you connect with everything. When you realize that you are the birds, you are the stones, you are everything, you are one with everything. So is it worth it to sacrifice sex, love, money, your goals, sometimes even family, friends, all that, just so you can connect with all of this? Sometimes, if it's something that you are interested in, I would say go for it, because it will fasten things and it will give you so much power. And people cannot harm you using these things. They just can't. People cannot do love ritual on you. It won't work. They can't do a come to me ritual and all that stuff on you. It won't work, because you are not even functioning on just love, those type of love. Your love life is a divine partnership. You already know who your chosen partner is, so you are not going to be, no, they can do all these things, try to get in between your, slow your connection down, whatever they think, but they cannot stop it. They cannot stop it. And even if something is going on energetically, you're going to dream it, see it, you know that there is an interference affecting your connection with someone. And I don't want to, get into a whole different conversation here. Let me make sure that I've said a lot. I've touched on everything that I want to touch on. I think I did. I didn't even follow the writing, but I pretty much said everything I wanted to say that I wrote down, even though I didn't follow through with it. Yeah, but the sexual energy is a very potent energy. Life force energy, spirit is in there. Like I said, all that stuff is in there. So if you can harness that sexual energy and use it, you would get your gifts quick, fast. You can even use sexual energy to manifest money. By holding yourself back from that, that is a ritual on its own. If you want to use that, you can use it and get some money. I use my sexual energy for creativity a lot. If I'm not getting active, then I channel all that sexual energy that I'm not able to express on a physical being into my creative work. So somebody will look at me, how do you get those ideas? Yeah, I'm not screwing anybody. So where's all that energy gonna go? It's gonna go into what I channel my energy to go into, a creative expression. It's all connected. You have to understand what you're working with. You have to understand everything that has to do with you, that has to do with you as a human being, what you're capable of, what you can do and what you cannot do, what your limitations are, if there are any, what can you shift and what you can't shift. So I pretty much wanted to talk about that. So yes, it's true, some people will say you don't need it, but I'm telling you, you need it if you really want some serious business. Because not only are you going to develop your skills and all that, you will gain power over it, where when in times where you don't have all this money, you don't have all this stuff, you're not going to feel like your life is over. You will still function, you will still live in peace, not stressing. I'm not talking about stressing and worrying, overthinking that you can't pay a bill. No. There are times where if I can't pay my bill, I still cannot pay my bill at that time. I don't stress. But I tell you what, somehow money comes and I pay the bill. So when you are in the spiritual flow, things you need will come to you. So would you ever eat grass? Trust me, if you're truly spiritually open, your ancestors, your angels, your guides, they will not let you eat grass. Trust me. You will eat, you will sleep. So it's a win-win. All right? It's a win-win. It's a win-win for you. You want your words to gain power, you need to develop your spiritual voice. Because you can be, somebody is talking to God all the time, talking to something all the time, and nothing is happening. Because your voice has no spiritual power. There is no energy in your voice. There's no vibrational shift in your voice. Some people's voice would have power and some people's voice don't. How do you gain the spiritual voice? By activating the throat chakra, activating the spiritual voice within you. How do you do that? Meditate. Start connecting with spirit. Listen to high vibrational sound, things that have to do with sound. Pay attention to the voice of the birds. Anything that's connected to sound, communication, music, try to take it into the next level. Channel more. Sit down and just tell your soul, talk to me, what do I need to know? And start writing, automatic writing. The more you connect with your soul, develop your intuitive voice, language, speech, writing, the more powerful and stronger your voice. When you start to speak, you speak it into existence. That's why some people, they don't need to even use, I don't need to use tarot cards to foresee something. Sometimes I speak into existence and things will happen. Sometimes I hear, right, intuitively I'm hearing what's about to go down, and truth but surely it will go down. But it needs time to develop. You need to develop these things. And the more you don't eat, and the more you don't even get intimate with someone and mix with their energy and all that they come with and all that stuff, the clearer your energies are and the simpler your path become to become a conduit. Because you see, the reason why sexual energy even is so powerful is if you're not sleeping with the whole world, you're not heavy. Or if you're not having sex constantly, you're not heavy. You're not in your physical body as much. You're not grounded in physicality as much. The less physical things you do, the higher your vibration is in the spiritual essence. So you eat to remain grounded. You eat to become more human. If you remove food, you're becoming lighter in your body, which is lighter vibration and higher vibration. That's what I mean. You're naturally heavier when you eat, right? And you want to go to sleep. Your body feels heavier when you've eaten, especially if you eat meat and heavy carbs and all that. Have you noticed that when you don't eat, how you feel lighter and you can even run? It's the same thing in vibration. Your vibration becomes more dense and more physical the more physical things you do, like eating, like you understand what I'm saying? Sexual energy, the more you release that, the more you're releasing life force. People who don't have that much sex also stay younger. Your skin looks younger. You are, it's basically like regenerating your life force energy back into yourself instead of taking it out. And I know you guys know scientifically, like men, they say, what did they say? The more sperms you let go, I don't know, something like that. I can't think right now, so I'm not going to try to remember and try to, make that make sense. But what I'm saying to you is sexual energy can regenerate you, can make you even more healthy if you're not taking it out all the time, because it has all of the things in there. It has all the power in there as well, to make you look younger. It can heal you if you turn it inward, right? Besides giving you that spiritual power, it can do quite a bit. And so if you understand the power of sexual energy, you will not open it for any lower vibrational person to enter and bring their lower self to yours. Now your thinking is dropping. You can't even think straight, and you don't know why. Your confusion is not your confusion. It is the girl you slept with. It is that guy you slept with that is a confused ball. Now you are a confused ball because it's like you have to manage their energy with yours. The mixing of the blood, the mixing of the DNA. Ancestors are mixing. This ritual crew is mixing with oh my God. And don't forget that there are sexual demons like succubus, incubus energies that gets attached to people that are overly sexually active. So now you go and sleep with this person that's sleeping with the whole world or something. And then you don't understand that there's a demon attached to them. And then you take this demon and next thing you know, all you want to do is sleep with someone. Then you don't understand why you want to sleep with someone. They don't need to do a ritual for you to have that extreme desire for sex. Anything that you overdo or that you do a lot of, your body naturally craves it. If you're not sleeping with, if you're not having sex, your body doesn't have that memory as much. So it's like you don't taste something, you don't know how it tastes like, sort of. So the reason why the sexual energy is even more powerful when you use it for spiritual ascension is because all of these entities and other people, because it's the fastest way to connect with someone. Why do you think marriage, they say it's not consummated until the sex act happens? Once you have sex with someone, you become one with them, seriously, energetically. You're blending spirits together. You're blending spirits together. You're blending ancestors. You're blending quite a bit. So you have to watch who you're exchanging this with. The more spiritually inclined you are, the more you realize that you're not just going to do it with any and everybody. Before I release that thing with you, man, you got to be somebody. And when I pull that energy off for you, it's going to be something else. You know, so yeah, there's a lot of spiritual power in your sexual energy. So use it. And I think that I'm done. I'm tired, Pooh. Guys, I'm tired. I don't think I'm doing tarot today. I'm even surprised I was able to get dressed and get on camera this month because, like I said, I was, in the dumpster. So I'm feeling a lot better. I've been talking. I'm struggling to stay excited and stuff. So I'm gonna let y'all, my loves, go today. I think I've said quite a bit. Like I always say, I cannot give you all the information at once. Maybe you just need to listen to me and do more research and start practicing certain things, and you would know. But make it purposeful. Don't just do it. Don't just choose to do that. Just because. Choose. Put the intentions in everything that you do, and you will see the difference. When you do things with intentions, you are 90% likely to gain what you want than just doing things just for the doing sake. Yeah. That's why there's a difference between somebody who say, I'm gonna make love to you, then let's have sex. You all know what that means. When somebody is gonna make love to you, the intentions, the energy, and everything that they are bringing onto you is so intense that the regular intercourse feels more divine. It feels different. I don't care what anybody say. When somebody's making love to you, the energy is different, even though it's still sexual energy. It is totally different than someone that wants to bang and leave. It's two different things. Some men will say, oh, I have sex with them girls and I make love to my wife. There's some truth to it because it's all about intention and energy and how you want to do it. So use that sexual energy for your spiritual growth, for your creative powers, for your intelligence, to grow your gifts, to remove demons and lower vibrational entities. Because the more, if you give it to just any random people, that should be out of the picture, period. And there's a reason why there are nuns. When people devote, the Catholic Church go with the nun thing, and because there's some truth to all of it. Even priestesses, some priestesses, when they are in power and they are doing their job, they are abstain from sex for a reason, because they want to be a clear conduit. Right? It's powerful. It's more powerful to abstain. You gain more power. Is the reason for that, because it is connected to the spiritual power. It's connected to spirit, life force energy through the sexual energy. It is. If it wasn't, it wouldn't be connected. It wouldn't be part of the of divine energy. So I want you to think about all that when you are spreading it wide open. Some people are not worth your sexual energy. Let's just say that. Okay. There are some people you sleep with and you become poor. You don't progress in life. Because why? Because the ancestors and everybody is going through the blood, is going through the sexual energy. Don't forget that. I've said that. Some people you sleep with them and your life is changed. All of a sudden you think clearly. So if you pay attention to energy and you're an energetic person, you do understand all that I'm saying. So there's a lot of power in celibacy and what you intend to use it for. And in this case, I hope you're using it for empowering yourself and reaching enlightenment in your own way and, stepping into your divinity. So that's all that I had to say, guys. I don't think I'll be doing anything else. I'm going to go lay down with my lazy self this week, and hopefully I get my fire back soon enough to start running around like a chicken with a head cut off, It's like I'm unstoppable when I'm in my fiery mood. But this Taurus season is like, go lay down at work. I want to be pampered. I want someone to massage me. I want to eat. I want to drink. I want to do all the pleasure. Oh my God, Taurus. Love you guys though. And I'm just going to leave you all alone. I love you, and that's it. I hope you enjoyed my little fashion ensemble. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like a big kid when I'm doing something creative because it's good for my soul. I am a big kid. Alright, I'm a big grown-up kid. So yeah, I'm childlike still, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. The innocence is purity. There's nothing wrong with that. Allow that to flow. So uptight. Laugh a little. I'm saying all this to myself, man. So I love you all, and thank you so much if you've been sitting here listening to me blah 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 blah. I hope you enjoyed our little conversation. I don't feel like I was that deep today, but I still tried. So yeah, leave me a comment. Let me know how you feel about my little talk with you today. Yeah. Love you all. Thank you so much, and bye.